Hello cyclists, welcome. Today a very special review because I'm going to compare three different bicycles. The VELORETTI, the VANMOOF and the COWBOY bike. Three very interesting and innovative bike brands, and two of them come from the Netherlands, the VANMOOF and the VELORETTI bike, and a Belgian bike, the COWBOY. So it's quite interesting when people ask me for a recommendation when they're looking for a new urban bike or a really perfect commuter bike. They directly go into the details of the bike, like the gearing, is it a chain or a belt drive, is it super smart, innovative? But I would highly recommend, if you're looking for a new bike, go one step back and I would ask you the following question. So what is the right sitting position for you? Is it rather upright and comfortable so you can see what's happening around you? Or are you more like in a sportive mood and you feel more comfortable with the sportive sitting position? Because if you feel like more comfortable when you're sitting upright, I definitely would recommend go for the VANMOOF or the VELORETTI because they offer this very comfortable sitting position where the weight is rather very upright, so not much on your hands, on your wrists and on your shoulders. And if you prefer a very sportive, not very, but a rather sportive sitting position, then definitely go for the COWBOY bike because then you're more leaned over and there's more weight on your wrists and on your hands and shoulders. Also keep that in mind if you do have back issues. Then the second question I would ask is, how does your everyday commuter and everyday regular life with a bike looks like? Do you have to transport stuff? Do you have to transport a lot? Because there the bikes offer different solutions. If you're looking for a cargo bike-like version, then I definitely would recommend to rather have a look at VANMOOF and also at the VELORETTI bike. But also COWBOY offers a rear rack. But have a look at the accessories and see if that what the brands offer does suit you. And now we can go into the details. I think one of the most interesting things that is happening in the bike market is that bicycles become smart. So your mobile phone becomes your companion, whether you need it to start the motor or to unlock the bike. There, VANMOOF, VELORETTI and COWBOY do offer different kinds of smartness. Let me start with the VELORETTI, because they offer everything you need for, I would say, for your everyday life. So you see how much kilometers you did cycle, you do have a community, and they are more and more launching different features that could be interesting for you. But it's not like the super smart bicycle. The super smartness is definitely the VANMOOF bike. But I would always keep in mind where there's a lot of software and innovation involved, there's also quite a lot of faults and mistakes. So that's what you read when you go into the detail of VANMOOF, when you read the blogs and the reviews. There's quite a lot of struggle concerning all the innovation. So a lot of mistakes happen. But of course VANMOOF is taking care of it. But in the end you always have to keep in mind, if you choose a very innovative and smart bike, there's always the software component, and this always could mean that you have to struggle with it. But anyway, so check out the VANMOOF app and the website, because then you'll see that you do have a smart lock, you have all the interesting information, and you can individualize quite a lot. Almost the same in this direction goes the COWBOY bike. There's this big app that is also launching quite a lot of features, and also COWBOY keeps in mind what cyclists are looking for. But it's really, for me, to be honest, it's not so important what features bicycle brands offer concerning smartness, because the most important thing for me is that the bicycle is reliable. Talking about reliability. For me, as a regular cyclist who needs a bicycle almost every day, it is super important that I can service my bike and that I can get all the parts I need just in case something is happening. Or if I can't fix it on my own, that I can go to a bike shop. And there is something quite interesting is happening when you have a closer look at the different bike brands. Because with a VELORETTI bike, for example, I can fix almost everything myself, and I can go to a regular bike shop because all the parts and accessories can be ordered by every bike shop. It's a bit different with the more smart bikes with COWBOY and VANMOOF, because there you really depend on the bike and on the different parts and accessories only they can provide. Well, of course, VANMOOF and COWBOY know that. So what they do is they start offering the service, also local service. So in big cities, for example, COWBOY offers like bike ambassadors and service. I also had that with my COWBOY bike, that something needed to be fixed. And a guy came from a city close by to Hamburg, took my bike and brought it back fixed. But to be honest, it took quite a while. So that's not, but yeah, I mean, in the end, here in Hamburg at the moment, I have to wait also for an appointment in the bike shop for sometimes a couple of days, in high season, even a couple of weeks. And VANMOOF also has now bike shops in all the major big cities worldwide. But my experience here in Hamburg was that they not always had like the biggest experts. So I thought that, yeah, I was not always in the best hands, but I know how difficult it is to find good personnel at the moment. But still, it's always good to have a shop where you can go to. And of course, COWBOY and VANMOOF offer service through the app, and VELORETTI does that as well. Maybe not as important as the feeling, how it is to ride a bike, is it very sportive or is it rather comfortable, is of course the design. And when you have a look, I would say VANMOOF is definitely the most innovative, strange looking bike, because you have, I think with every model they introduce, they have something very special. VANMOOF, for example, has the integrated lights in the frame that is a bit like their signature look, and now they do offer the halo rings that are integrated into the handlebar. Also, COWBOY has like a signature look also with integrated bike lights, but those are not sufficient, for example, for Germany. There you do need extra lights. But both are very progressive. They do have, no, VANMOOF only has one color option, but COWBOY does have 3 different color options. But rather sportive is the COWBOY, very innovative but very classy is rather the VANMOOF. The very classy one, but still with a twist, is the VELORETTI. Also, those bikes are not sufficient for the German law. You do need extra lighting, but check out on the website, on the VELORETTI, you do have very beautiful color options, and for me it's the most elegant. And quality-wise, you see in the design, they gave a lot of thought and passion into it. So for me, at the moment, definitely the VELORETTI is my favorite bicycle. Well, those 3 bikes are e-bikes, and it's quite interesting because all brands has the motor in a different place. I would start to go from the front to the back. I would start with the VANMOOF because there the motor is located in the front hub. Some people say it's a bit dangerous because you can slip. Well, I haven't heard of a cyclist that fell or had an accident because they slipped away with the front tire because it was wet and the acceleration was too fast. But I think I need to tell you that if you have a closer look in discussions and blogs, they say a motor in the front hub can be dangerous. And the motor in the front hub has 68 Newton meters, which is the strongest motor of those 3 bicycles. Maybe also quite important to mention is that the VANMOOF motor is like their own brand. So I would suggest probably it's an Asian manufacturer, and VANMOOF did put on their own brand. Whereas the VELORETTI manufacturers, they use a brand called Befang, which is probably quite popular and very reliable. And for me also important, as I just said earlier, because if there's something wrong with the motor, you usually can go to a regular bike shop and they can help you. The middle motor of the VELORETTI e-bikes is like, for me, the most natural one because it feels very comfortable and it has, like the VANMOOF, a torque sensor. So the harder you push the pedal, the more support you get. And this one is not as strong as the VANMOOF, but almost, it has 65 Newton meters of torque, which is, well, in comparison to the very comfortable sitting position, it will make like the bicycle feels like a rocket. And what, as well as the VANMOOF, as the VELORETTI bike offer, is like a boost button, because yeah, actually the VANMOOF button is called boost button, and the VELORETTI, it's called superhero mode. So when you push it or you choose this mode, you like really feel like a rocket. Well, of course, there's the third bike, the COWBOY bike, and the motor is located. We have the front, the middle, it's located in the rear. And a motor in the rear hub gives you like a very interesting feeling because it rather pushes you. Maybe comparable when you to cars when you drive a Porsche, because there's also the motor located in the back. And also when you ride an EV. So very dynamic. This motor is pretty strong with the new COWBOY S4 model, but it has only 45 Newton meters. And why is that? I think it is because, of course, it's located in the back and the bicycle is quite light. Also compared to the other two brands, VELORETTI and VANMOOF, the COWBOY is definitely a lightweight. And when we have a closer look at this whole e-bike universe, you do need, of course, a battery. And there, again, a very important question: how does your everyday life with the e-bike looks like? Because can you take out the battery or not? Or do you have to charge the bike directly? Well, of course, all bikes can be charged directly, but the COWBOY and the VELORETTI offer the option to take out the battery, which is quite important. So also keep that in mind. Quite important for me, does the bicycle has a chain or a belt drive? And VANMOOF over years, again and again, still sticking to the chain, of course, protected in a chain glider. But for me, to be honest, the belt drive is more interesting because it lasts much longer. It lasts up to 30,000 kilometers and it does need no attention at all. Also very important what you expect from a bicycle concerning the gears, because COWBOY, for example, only offers single speed. Why do I say only? Because at a certain point I had the feeling with the S4, like you're super quick, you easily reach the 25 kilometers that are allowed in Germany, and then there's not more to go to, as you probably know what I mean, because then there's no much choice I have, because in the combination with the torque sensor, it feels of course very natural, but I so easily reach the 25 kilometers that I wish there would be more, that I could go even faster. Because I talked to a couple of clients that are taller and much heavier than me. For them, they had a different sensation, and that for them the cycling was a bit different. But for me, it was really, really super sportive. And sometimes I was, to be honest, a little bit scared because I reached the 25 kilometers so easily. It's a bit different with the VANMOOF and VELORETTI. So VANMOOF did choose only 3 gears now because they had so many troubles with the model before, where you had more gears and could individualize them. So at the moment, what I hear, it's the VANMOOF is reliable concerning the gears, but yeah, you do not have so much choice. But in the end, when you ride, when you cycle in urban surroundings, I think 3 gears are enough. But to be honest, my most favorite choice is the VELORETTI, the Inviolo, because there it's stepless and you always choose the right gear, and it's such a natural and super interesting feeling. So if you haven't had the chance to test ride an Inviolo gearing system, I would highly recommend it because it's so interesting. To be honest, I'm not so sure why it is so important how much the battery offers, because in the end, if you're commuting in a city, I always ask, how many kilometers do you commute? So how many watt hours does the battery really has to offer? Is it really that bad to charge the battery that often? But that's You know, most of the bicycles offer you a range from 60-70 kilometers up to 100 kilometers. And that's also the case with these three models. The COWBOY bike has the smallest battery with 360 watt-hours. The VELORETTI is around 500 watt-hours, and that's the same for the VANMOOF. So always, like, depending on what pedal assist you choose, you have a range of all three bikes, 60-70 kilometers up to 100 or 120 kilometers. So I'd say if you pedal on a regular basis, you should charge the bike like 2 or 3 times a week, of course always depending on the distance you have to cycle. And of course an e-bike provides you different information, like how's the battery is charged, how fast am I cycling, what mode of assist I'm in, and there the three bikes offer very different options. Well, COWBOY and VANMOOF offer you not a display, but you can put your mobile phone on the bike, and then you also have the navigation option. I would suggest check out the different reviews I made to really go into detail. VELORETTI is the only bike that has a little display. It's called a diamond display, and I'm really fond of it because there's only the information I really need, but I can connect my mobile phone with the display via Bluetooth, and I have a little navigation system with arrows, and that worked really, really well for me. So that was very progressive for me, and I really did like the design and this option. All three brands also offer step-through models. So if you're not so keen on riding a male bike, then check out those different bicycles. All the three brands offer different service and insurance options because they have whether a GPS tracker or you can add on different insurance packages. So I would highly recommend check out the different websites because it's very individual how much money you want to spend and what could be interesting for you. Well, of course, all the three bikes are not super expensive, but they're also not super affordable and cheap. But if I would say, if you have a look at the quality and the price, I definitely would say that COWBOY as well as VELORETTI offer high quality components, more reliable components, and therefore the prices, the COWBOY costs almost 2,800 without any insurance packages, and the VELORETTI a little bit less than 2,500 euros, which is for me a very reasonable price if you do want a reliable bicycle with interesting features. And the VANMOOF, probably you pay like the innovation and the smartness of the bike, but it also costs like 2,500 euros. But for me, in the end, it's not so transparent what parts and accessories they use. Of course, when you have a closer look, then you see that all the accessories and parts are designed for them. But in the end, you really have to decide how much you want to spend and what you expect from a bicycle. So all in all, my conclusion, if you're into sportive cycling, if you want a smart bike, it's a bit agile and aggressive, I would say go for a COWBOY bike and also have a closer look at the different features they offer. If you are in a mood for a very high quality bike that is comfortable and is a very good companion for your everyday life, but also offers features that are like super agile and innovative, like the superhero mode, I would say go for the VELORETTI bike. And if you're like an early adopter and you're into experimenting and you need a lot of interesting features and you have an upright sitting position, then go for the VANMOOF. But still, I'm really keen because there's so much happening when you have a closer look, and at their communication channels of those three brands, then you see there's always something happening. So all three bikes definitely super interesting, and if you do have questions or if you do have remarks, leave a message in the comment and I would be super happy if you're not already doing it. Give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel.